Have you ever felt like your brain is sabotaging you? You know you need to get something done, whether it's studying, working on a project, or even just going to the gym. But instead, you find yourself scrolling through social media, binge-watching Netflix, or convincing yourself that you'll start tomorrow. Here's the thing. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack discipline. It's because your brain is wired to avoid hard things. But what if I told you there's a way to force your brain to work with you instead of against you? It's called the Lotus Method, and it's a simple yet powerful system that will completely change the way you approach challenges. By the end of this video, you'll have a step-by-step framework to rewire your brain, overcome procrastination, and finally tackle the things you've been avoiding. Trust me, this is one of the most powerful mental abilities you'll ever learn. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Investage Academy. I'm Charlie, and today we're talking about one of the most important skills you can develop, the ability to do hard things, even when you don't feel like it. Before we get started, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who are ready to level up their lives. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more actionable strategies to help you invest in yourself and your future. Also, make sure to stick around until the end, because I'll share a bonus tip that ties everything together. And don't forget to check out our latest video on the space race. It's packed with fascinating insights you won't want to miss. All right, let's get into it. Part 1. Why your brain resists hard things. Let's start with the big question. Why is it so hard to do the things we know we should do? Why does your brain fight you when you try to study, work out, or start that project you've been putting off? The answer lies in how your brain is wired. Your brain's primary job is to keep you alive. It's designed to avoid pain, conserve energy, and seek comfort. Back in the day, this was a survival mechanism. Avoiding pain meant staying away from predators. Conserving energy meant you didn't starve. And seeking comfort meant finding shelter and safety. But here's the problem. In today's world, those same instincts work against us. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a life-threatening danger and a challenging task. Writing a report, studying for an exam, or starting a business feels like a threat to your brain. So, it triggers resistance. That's why you procrastinate, get distracted, or feel overwhelmed. And let's be honest, we live in a world full of distractions. Social media, streaming platforms, and endless notifications make it even harder to focus. Your brain is constantly looking for the easiest, most pleasurable option, and hard tasks just don't feel rewarding in the moment. Here's an example. Imagine you have a big project due in a week. Your brain knows it's important, but instead of starting, you find yourself cleaning your room, organizing your desk, or even doing laundry. Things that feel productive, but are really just distractions. This is called productive procrastination. And it's your brain's way of avoiding discomfort while still feeling like you're accomplishing something. But here's the good news. You can rewire your brain to embrace hard things. You can train it to stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities. And that's where the Lotus Method comes in. Part 2. What is the Lotus Method? The Lotus Method is a mental framework inspired by the lotus flower. If you've ever seen a lotus, you know it grows in muddy, murky water. But despite its environment, it rises above the surface, clean and beautiful. The idea behind the Lotus Method is simple. You train your brain to thrive in discomfort, to rise above the mud of resistance, procrastination, and excuses. Instead of relying on motivation, which is unreliable and fleeting, you focus on building systems and habits that make hard things automatic. Here's why it works. The Lotus Method breaks down big, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable steps. It creates an environment that supports focus and uses small wins to build momentum. It's not about willpower, it's about strategy. And the best part? Anyone can do it. You don't need to be super disciplined or naturally productive. You just need to follow the steps. Think about it this way. The lotus doesn't fight the mud. It uses the mud as a foundation to grow. Similarly, the Lotus Method teaches you to use resistance and discomfort as a foundation for growth. Instead of avoiding the hard stuff, you learn to embrace it and even thrive in it. Part 3. The 4 steps of the Lotus Method. Let's break it down into 4 actionable steps you can start using today. Step 1. Anchor your why. The first step is to anchor your why. This is your foundation. Before you start any hard task, ask yourself, why does this matter to me? What's the bigger purpose behind it? For example, if you're studying for an exam, Your why might be to land your dream job, make your family proud, or prove to yourself that you can do it. If you're starting a business, your why might be financial freedom, helping others, or creating a legacy. Write it down. Make it personal. When your brain tries to resist, your why will pull you back on track. It's like a compass that keeps you focused on your goals, even when the journey gets tough. Here's a tip. Make your why visual. Create a vision board, write it on a sticky note, or set it as your phone wallpaper. The more you see it, the more it will stay at the front of your mind. Step 2. Shrink the task. Big tasks overwhelm your brain. When you think about writing a 10-page report, your brain panics. It feels impossible, so you avoid it. The solution? Shrink the task. Instead of saying, I need to write a 10-page report, say, I'll write the first paragraph. Instead of saying, I need to work out for an hour, say, I'll do 5 minutes of stretching. This is called the 2-minute rule. Start with something so small, it feels impossible to fail. Once you start, you'll often find that momentum carries you forward. Here's another example. If you're trying to clean your room, don't think about cleaning the entire space. Start with one corner or one drawer. Once you get started, you'll likely keep going. Step 3. Create a trigger. Your environment shapes your behavior. If your workspace is cluttered, your phone is buzzing, and the TV is on, your brain will struggle to focus. Create triggers that signal your brain it's time to work. For example, if you want to study, always sit at the same desk, at the same time, with the same setup. Over time, your brain will associate that trigger with focus. Another example, if you want to work out, lay out your gym clothes the night before. When you see them in the morning, it triggers the habit. Here's a pro tip. Eliminate distractions. Put your phone on airplane mode, use noise-canceling headphones, or even use apps that block social media during work sessions. The fewer distractions you have, the easier it will be to stay focused. Step 4. Reward the process, not the outcome. Most people wait to celebrate until they finish the big task, but the Lotus Method teaches you to reward the process. Did you write for 10 minutes? Celebrate. Did you complete one small step? Celebrate. This builds positive reinforcement and keeps you motivated to keep going. Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. Here's an idea. Create a reward system. For example, after completing a task, treat yourself to something small, like a favorite snack, a short break, or an episode of your favorite show. This trains your brain to associate hard work with positive outcomes. Part 4. How to make it stick. Now here's the part most people miss. Consistency. The Lotus Method isn't a one-time hack. It's a lifestyle. To make it stick, you need to track your progress. Use a journal, an app, or even a simple checklist. Every time you complete a step, check it off. This creates a feedback loop that trains your brain to crave the satisfaction of progress. And here's a bonus tip. Embrace discomfort. Remember, the lotus grows in the mud. When you feel resistance, remind yourself that it's a sign you're growing. The more you practice leaning into hard things, the easier they become. Over time, your brain will stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities. Here's another way to think about it. Every time you push through resistance, you're building mental strength. It's like going to the gym for your brain. The more you practice, the stronger you get. Conclusion. So there you have it, the Lotus Method. Anchor your why, shrink the task, create a trigger, and reward the process. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Investage Academy for more actionable strategies to level up your life. And before you go, check out our latest video on the space race. It's packed with fascinating insights you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and remember, the hardest things in life are often the most rewarding. Keep growing, and I'll see you in the next video.